Okay, let's go. What's happening in the markets right now? We are here for an emergency broadcast, so that's why no beach around me today, because I'm doing this at nighttime. Because it's obviously very urgent. What's happening with Bitcoin coins? We had both Luna crash and the Nasdaq crash. So basically, Bitcoin coins is down to 29,000. Was this a huge surprise? Just remember the shape of Bitcoin. We had the bounce up here, bounce down here, small bounce here, and then came right down. And we might remember that's actually on Pablo's Twitter, in Pablo's Discord. That's actually exactly what I was calling for. Played out almost exactly. I jumped the gun and I thought, okay, maybe the turning point was when Fed hiked rates. I was jumping the gun. Turns out it's actually going down and bottoming about now. If you look at it, I had it drawn low one in this 32K range. So what is this, about 29? Kind of pretty accurate. Now, going forward, I think we might do some sort of bounce like this. No guarantees though, no guarantees. Why am I thinking like this? So basically, remember there's always risks in the market. There's no guarantees, but here are a couple of things I'm thinking. First of all, let's have a look at the VIX, one of the most reliable ones. These are indicators that we've spoken about many times, but I'll just revisit it. We can see that let's make it a weekly, going back all this time. This is back to when? Okay, like 30 years ago. For the last 30 years, when the VIX is the measure the volatility within the SP 500. And why we're talking about the SP 500? I hope no one's asking that silly question again, because right now, basically, Bitcoin's moving the same way as the stocks, particularly the tech stocks. Whichever way tech stocks move, SP 500 moves, Bitcoins go that way, except worse. So, and of course, as always, this is going out to my Discord first, for my Discord VIP members. Then I'll put it out on social media. But, maybe just with a 1 day lag this time, because everyone needs to see this. So what's happening is, as you can see, when the VIX tops, usually that's pretty much always when stocks bottom, and Bitcoin should bottom at the same time, this time as well. And you can see in these huge crises since 31 years ago, they usually bottom around, they spike to about here, about 36, and then they pull back. Or in the really bad ones, they spike to about 48 and they pull back. And in the world-ending ones, like this is COVID, March 2020, and this is October '08. That's the GFC crash. They get to about 80, 90, and then they pull back. So this time, it is likely we are pulling back somewhere after getting to about 36. This is where we are, about 36, and then we turn back. So it's a pretty good chance this is kind of near the bottom. If it keeps going, then we hit here, we turn back about the 48k area. So that's not impossible. So it's just a matter of probabilities. I mean, it's obviously the ones that stop here happen more often than the ones that stop here. So I would say 65-70% chance we've kind of are very much near the bottom. We've seen the bottom. And then remember, this has only happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 times. 6 times out of the last 31 years. And whereas stopping here, look how many times it's happened, right? Where the VIX just basically stops around here, especially post-pandemic. Look how many times it basically stops around here. So it's a matter of probabilities. Another one we look at is the market breadth. So let's have a look at this. There's a way I can show it to you guys that's more helpful. Okay, so let's have a look at this one, and basically the breadth is let's go use it a weekly. Oh. So this should show us. This indicator basically shows the number of Nasdaq stocks that are above their 200-day average. Like, are 50% of them above their their average, 40%, 30%. Obviously, the lower that number is, then the less breadth the market has. So what? Come on, it's coming out. It's really coming out. Come on. It's basically this line here, and it's meant to be. It's just my laptop's reacting a little bit slowly. To give it a little bit of time. Okay, and here it is. As we can see, this number here, that's at about 12%. We can see about 12, 13%, 12, 11%. What that means is only 11 or 12% of all Nasdaq stocks are actually above their 200-day average, which is pretty bearish, which means everything has gone down. And if we look at it in its history, right, it's I've done this with stocks before, and when people see it in my previous couple of videos, when you match it up with stocks, these times matches up with almost exact bottoms in stocks. And because stocks and crypto and Bitcoin are so correlated right now, I would say that right now they actually would be a good indicator on when to buy Bitcoin as well. So let's have a look at the last couple of ones. This is when I hit 11, and look at this. This is Bitcoin, by the way. This is the exact bottom of Bitcoin. Whoa, come on. In 2017, look at that. Imagine if you bought it around there, around 3,700. This is the COVID bottom of Bitcoin, and again, it's around 12, 11, 13. Yep. Buying it around 5,000, and now it's almost there. The last reading is 14.7. So 14.7 is still slightly higher, but it's so close now. The other two times were at what? Around 11. So now we're at 14. So it's very close now. Either we're at bottom or near bottom on stocks and the Bitcoin. Now, looking forward, there are other indicators that I look at. The II Bull Sentiment Index. There's a bunch of them. And also, let's revisit the Microstrategy one. I made a tweet yesterday, and I also sent this into my Discord saying that, okay, Bitcoin looks like it's going to go below 32K. Why is that? Because if we look at Microstrategy, it also does let me put it on a daily. So it's been basically running a very similar pattern to Bitcoin, except it's a good early indicator for Bitcoin. Now, let's have a look at Microstrategy. It's running that upward trend line, rising channel. And then it broke down. So when it got to here, I said 32 to 35K Bitcoin. And then yesterday when it got to there, that's like, you'd have to go back to what, November 2020 to see those prices. I said, okay, that means Bitcoin is most likely going below 32K. And exactly, we saw Bitcoin at 29K yesterday. Okay, so that's part of the update. I do think that we are very likely to bottom. We're almost there sometime very soon. And one of the key reasons why is because we're going to see the key deciding factor for me is inflation tomorrow. If we get a good reading on the inflation number, I think the markets would have bottomed, and it could be a massive, massive bounce. So I'll cover that next. I'm just going to break this up into a two-parter. Okay, watch the next one, and you understand why markets could make a massive bounce on Wednesday.